Sara slid a piece of paper across the diner table and pointed at a number. Marcus looked down. His credit score. He had been avoiding checking it for almost 2 years. The number staring back at him was 612. Sara did not say anything dramatic. She just said, "Do you know what that number is costing you?" He did not know. Most people do not. That morning, over 2 cups of coffee that kept getting refilled, Sara walked Marcus through exactly what a low credit score quietly takes from you every single month, and the specific steps that had moved her own score from 588 to 741 in under 14 months. A credit score is a number between 300 and 850. Think of it as a grade that lenders, landlords, and sometimes even employers use to decide how much of a risk you represent to them. The higher your number, the more they trust you and the better the terms they offer you. The lower your number, the more they charge you for everything. Higher interest rates on loans, higher insurance premiums in some states, larger deposits on apartments. The score does not care how hard you work or how good a person you are. It only responds to specific financial behaviors. And the moment you understand which behaviors move it, you can start moving it intentionally. Here is the number that should get your attention. According to Bankrate, the difference in monthly payments between a credit score of 620 and a score of 760 on a 30-year mortgage of $300,000 is roughly $220 every single month. That is $2,640 per year. Over the full 30 years of that mortgage, that gap adds up to more than $79,000 in extra interest on the exact same house for the exact same loan amount, simply because of a lower credit score, not because of any mistake you made recently, just because of a number most people never think to improve. Marcus looked at that figure for a long time. His mortgage renewal was coming up in 8 months. The number had a face now. The same thing happens with car loans, personal loans, and credit cards. People with scores below 620 routinely pay interest rates 2 to 3 times higher than people with scores above 720, according to Federal Reserve consumer credit data. That gap is not a small inconvenience. It is a slow, steady drain on wealth that runs in the background year after year, without most people ever connecting it back to their score. In countries around the world, the specific scoring systems differ, but the underlying idea is identical. Your financial history is being tracked, and that record is used to price every major financial product you will ever need. Understanding what goes into your score is not optional. It is survival knowledge. Sara told Marcus she first checked her credit score at 39 years old. She had assumed hers was fine because she paid her bills. It was 588. She did not know that the amount she owed compared to her available credit limit was being measured separately. She did not know that the age of her oldest account mattered. She did not know that every time she applied for a new credit card, her score took a small hit. She had been managing money reasonably well for years and still had a score that was quietly working against her. That realization, she said, was not discouraging. It was useful because every single one of those factors could be changed. If that number sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place. This is Wealth Lens. Every week we break down the money stuff nobody ever taught us in a way that actually makes sense. If this is your first time here, hit subscribe. You will not regret it. Now, back to Sara and Marcus. Your credit score is built from 5 factors, and knowing how much weight each one carries changes everything. The biggest factor is payment history. It makes up 35% of your score. Every on-time payment quietly builds it. Every missed or late payment damages it. A single payment that is 30 days late can drop a good score by 60 to 80 points, according to FICO research. That drop can take months to recover from. The single most powerful thing you can do for your score right now, before anything else, is to never miss a payment again. Set up automatic minimum payments on every account. You can always pay more on top. But automatic minimums mean the 35% of your score that lives in payment history never takes an accidental hit. The second factor is called credit utilization, and it makes up 30% of your score. Here's how it works. If the total credit limit across all your cards is $10,000 and you are currently carrying a balance of $6,000, your utilization rate is 60%, meaning you are using 60% of the credit available to you. Most financial experts recommend keeping this number below 30%. The sweet spot for maximum improvement is below 10%. This does not mean you cannot spend on your credit cards. It means you should pay your balances down before your statement closing date each month, or request a higher credit limit without increasing your spending, which immediately lowers your utilization percentage without costing you anything extra. Marcus interrupted at this point. He said he had always believed that carrying a small balance on his card each month was good for his score, that it showed the lender he was using the card. Sara shook her head. This is one of the most expensive credit myths in circulation. Carrying a balance does not help your score. It costs you interest. Paying your balance in full every month, before the due date, builds your score and costs you zero in interest charges. The credit card company reports your payment as on time, your utilization stays low, and you pay nothing in interest. The myth that you need to carry a balance to build credit has cost millions of people real money in unnecessary interest charges over the years. Write it down and cross it out. It is not true. The third factor is length of credit history, which counts for 15% of your score. This measures the age of your oldest account, your newest account, and the average age of all your accounts together. This is why financial advisors consistently say, do not close your oldest credit card, even if you hardly use it. Every year that card stays open, the average age of your accounts grows, and your score benefits quietly. If you close a card that is 10 years old because you are not using it, you lose 10 years of credit history from your average age calculation. The impact may not show up immediately, but over 12 to 18 months, it becomes visible and painful. Older accounts are free credit score points simply by existing. Let them exist. The fourth and fifth factors are credit mix and new credit inquiries, each counting for 10%. Credit mix means having different types of borrowing, a credit card, a car loan, a mortgage, which shows lenders you can manage various forms of credit responsibly. You do not need to go out and take on new debt to improve this. Just knowing it exists helps you make smarter decisions when opportunities arise. New credit inquiries happen when you apply for a loan or credit card. Each one temporarily lowers your score by a small amount. Multiple applications in a short window can look like financial desperation to a lender. However, if you are shopping for a mortgage or a car loan, multiple hard inquiries within a 14-day window are typically counted as just one. Space your applications out and research before you apply. Sara's score was 588 when she started. She set 3 goals in the first 30 days. First, she enrolled every single account in auto pay for the minimum payment, so no payment would ever be late again. Second, she paid down her highest utilization card aggressively, bringing it from 72% utilization down to 21% in 3 months, using money she freed up by canceling subscriptions she was no longer using. Third, she requested a credit limit increase on her oldest card without making any new purchases on it, which immediately dropped her overall utilization rate across all cards. None of these steps required new money. They required attention and the right sequence. Within 90 days, her score had moved from 588 to 634. It was not a miracle. It was applied understanding. There are also errors on credit reports that silently damage scores, and they are more common than most people realize. A 2021 Consumer Reports investigation found that 34% of Americans identified at least one error on their credit report. These errors range from accounts that do not belong to you, to late payment records that are incorrect, to debts that have been paid but are still showing as outstanding. In the U.S., you are legally entitled to one free credit report from each of the 3 major credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, every 12 months through annualcreditreport.com. Similar free access rights exist in many countries through consumer protection laws. Checking your report for errors costs nothing. Correcting a genuine error can move your score by 30 points or more within 60 days of disputing it. Marcus asked the question most people ask at this point. What if there is real negative information on my report? Not errors, actual late payments, or collections that genuinely happened. Sara's answer was honest. Negative information does not stay on your report forever. Under U.S. law, most negative items fall off after 7 years. A collection account from 4 years ago still matters, but it matters less every year that passes, especially when you are building positive history on top of it. The strategy is straightforward. Stop adding new negatives while consistently adding new positives. Every on-time payment is a deposit into your credit history. Every month your utilization stays below 30% is another month working in your favor. Time and consistency are the most powerful credit repair tools available to you, and they cost absolutely nothing. Sara also raised something Marcus had not considered. Becoming an authorized user on someone else's well-managed credit card can add positive history to your own report without you needing to spend anything. If a family member or trusted partner has a car with a long history and low utilization and adds you as an authorized user, that card's positive history can appear on your credit report. You do not even need to have the physical card or make any purchases on it. For young adults building their credit for the first time, or for anyone rebuilding after a difficult financial period, this can be one of the fastest ways to add positive age and payment history to a thin credit file. It does require real trust on both sides, and both people need to understand the responsibility involved. But used carefully, it works. The last thing Sara put on the table was a warning about credit repair companies. Every year, Americans spend hundreds of millions of dollars on services that promise to clean up credit reports and raise scores dramatically in short time frames. The Federal Trade Commission is direct on this. No credit repair company can legally remove accurate negative information from your credit report before it naturally expires. Anything a credit repair service can legally do, you can do yourself for free. Dispute your own errors. Pay down your own balances. Set up your own autopay. The only thing these companies sometimes provide is structure and accountability. And those are things you can build yourself with a notebook, a calendar, and a free credit monitoring service. Sara pulled out her phone and showed Marcus her credit score the day she started, 588. Then she showed him the score 14 months later, 741, a 153-point increase. She did not take on new debt to get there. She did not pay a service to fix it. She set up autopay. She paid down utilization. She left her old accounts open. She checked her report for errors and found two, both disputed and corrected within 60 days. She kept new credit applications to a minimum. That was the entire plan. Nothing clever. Nothing that required a high income or special access. Just consistent, informed action on the 5 factors she now understood. Her mortgage renewal came in at a rate almost a full percentage point lower than her previous one. Marcus looked at his score again, 612. He did the math on his mortgage renewal. At 612, the rate he was likely to be offered would cost him significantly more over the remaining term of his loan than if he could move to 700 or above before the renewal date. He had 8 months. Sara showed him the sequence she would use in his situation. Month 1, set up autopay on everything and pull his full credit report to check for errors. Months 2 and 3, aggressively pay down the car with the highest utilization using subscription audit money he had already identified. Month 4, request a credit limit increase on his oldest card without increasing his spending. Month 5 onwards, stay consistent and let the history build. 8 months of focused action could realistically move a 612 to 680 or higher. On a mortgage renewal, that difference would be worth thousands. The credit score conversation is uncomfortable for a lot of people because it feels like a judgment on your life choices. Sara understood that. She said the discomfort is real, but the avoidance is expensive. Looking at your score does not lower it. Knowing what is on your report does not hurt you. Only ignoring it does, because while you are looking away, the report is still being used. Every landlord who checks your application, every lender who prices your loan, every insurer in states that use credit data, they are all looking at that number whether you are or not. The only person in the world whose financial situation gets better by knowing what is in that report is you. Sara said checking her score for first time, even though the number was hard to see, was the most financially useful thing she had done in years. Whether you are 22 years old and building your very first credit history, or 55 years old, and realizing your score has been quietly working against you for years, the path forward is the same. The 5 factors do not change with your age. Payment history, credit utilization, length of history, credit mix, and new inquiries. The system treats everyone by the same rules. What differs is where you are starting from and how much time you have before your next major financial decision: a mortgage, a car loan, a rental application, a business credit line. But the direction of movement is always available to you. There is no score too low to improve. There is no point at which consistent positive behavior stops making a difference. Every month you act on these 5 factors is a month working directly in your financial favor. Marcus left that diner with his credit report pulled up on his phone, auto pay enabled on 2 accounts before he even reached his car, and a plan written on the back of a napkin that Sara had dated and signed as a witness. He was not transformed overnight. He was informed for first time. And that is always how it starts. So here's my question for you, and answer it honestly, because your answer will shape what we cover next. Have you checked your credit score in the last 12 months? Yes, no, or I am too scared to look. Drop it below. No judgment here whatsoever. This is a safe space for honest answers. And if this video gave you one thing you're going to use this week, subscribe to Wealth Lens. Every single week, we are here helping you see money differently.